Hello and welcome back to the Daily Royal, a podcast covering the daily events of all the European royal families. Today we are going to be talking about all of the events from Friday, March 12th to today, which is Sunday, March 14th. Sorry if I'm a little frazzled today. Some big life things have happened and I'm tired, but I want to get this up and ready for you all Monday morning, but it will probably be pretty scattered because I'm a little scatterbrained today. But anyway, we're just going to jump right in with the Belgian royal family, and yeah, let's get started. Let's go to Belgium. In Belgium, there was only one event for the past few days. On Friday, Queen Mathilde visited the Department of Child Psychiatry. So she toured the facility and then spoke with professionals as well as patients about topics such as eating disorder recovery, and of course the effects that COVID-19 has had on mental health, because we all know that that is affecting people pretty intensely, and teenagers and children are literally no different. In fact, it's almost worse because they have no sense of when this is going to end. So that's always a challenge. So that's what was going on. Oh, there was also, sorry, like I said, scatterbrained. There was also like a therapy cat at this office, and it posed for the pictures. It was so funny. It cracked me up. Like the cat just posed for pictures, and you could see like there was a cat tree in the background, and it was just like a perfect situation for this therapy cat. It was wonderful. And it was, it was a physical visit. It was out of the palace, and that's always super nice as well. Because people, like, it's just nice to see them out of the palace. So that was really what was going on in Belgium. Like I said, there haven't been any other events because it's, it's the weekend, and the Belgian royals don't typically work on the weekend. Sometimes they will, but not on a usual basis, for sure. So that's like the first thing that, I don't know. I'm so out of it, you guys. I'm so sorry. We're going to make this one pretty short, so I'm going to actually go ahead now and just, we're going to move on straight to the UK. This is back to being it's probably going to be a short episode. So I wasn't planning on talking about this, but I actually have moved back home. So I was in an apartment by myself, and it just wasn't, for me, it wasn't working out very well. So I moved back home today, and there's always a bit of a like loss of confidence in doing that, and not just in general life, but like with specific regards to like using my voice in podcast world. So I definitely notice like I'm quieter. I do know there's an echo because I haven't really moved in. A lot of my, like all my stuff is in here, but there's nothing on the walls yet or anything like that. So it's a very quiet room. And there's a lot of echo. I know that. But yeah, it's hard to readjust to, speaking out loud, I guess. So, on Friday, there was nothing really, new that happened. However, the video of Queen Elizabeth's, video chat with scientists was released, and oh my goodness, it was so amazing. She was so engaged in the whole conversation. It was really focused on the mission, the Mars mission with the rover. I think it's called Perseverance is the rover on Mars. And so Queen Elizabeth was talking about how she met the first person who went to the moon, who's a Russian. She met the Apollo, I guess, 11, 13. I don't remember which one was successful. Team at Buckingham Palace. So she got to share some of her experiences throughout the years of seeing the moon landing and things like that. And she was just really engaged in the conversation, and I thought it was awesome. So that was kind of Friday's public event, and then overall it was pretty quiet for the weekend. However, today is Mother's Day in the UK. So if you're in the US, our Mother's Day is in May. I think it's the second Sunday of May. But in the UK, it's typically in March. And so today was Mother's Day. And it was interesting because each social media account for the royal family released older photos, but then Kensington Palace did something that was really touching and moving and kind of emotional, because they focused on the fact that some people don't have their mothers with them anymore, and especially after COVID, that's even more so the case this year. People have lost their mother this year because of COVID. And it was really interesting because they kind of shared a surprisingly personal thing that happens every year. So the Cambridge children so George, Charlotte, and Louis will write Mother's Day cards to their to Prince William's mother, Princess Diana. And it's this beautiful thing that I would have never thought they would have shared. But you got to see each of their writing and just really kind of see what they do. And they do this, so William has a way to remember his mom. And I don't know, I was shocked that they shared it because it is such a personal thing. And William doesn't share a lot of his personal life and his personal struggles, but he did with this. And I just thought it was a really beautiful thing for him to do, given how many people have experienced the same kind of loss this year. So I don't know. I just thought that was a really great thing. But that's what was going on in the UK, public facing. And so now I am going to go ahead and pull up the court circular from the past couple of days. So I'll pull up the one from the 12th. It looks like there isn't one released for today. So on March 12th, the Prince of Wales, sorry, my dog hit a metal post, I apologize. So Friday, the Prince of Wales held a meeting for the Sustainable Markets Initiative. And then at Kensington Palace, the Duchess of Cambridge held an early years meeting. So that is what was going on with our royal family, the British royal family, over the weekend. And now we are going to go ahead and move on. Let me see where we're moving on to. We are going to move on to the Netherlands. In the Netherlands, there was only one event, and that was on Friday, of course. And so this is, so we haven't really talked about this other than when it initially happened, because it seems like King Willem-Alexander doesn't have a whole lot of role in this, but the Dutch government holds its elections, I think, starting Monday or Tuesday. They will hold elections for their new government. And so today, on Friday, King Willem-Alexander took part in a digital visit with different organizations that will be working on these upcoming elections. So ballot machines, in my country, we call them Board of Elections, but they're like the government officials who are in charge of running the election. I don't know how the Netherlands run elections, but that is what he was doing. And so, like I said, I don't know if he has a lot of role in this. So, like, King Philippe of Belgium has a huge role in forming the government, in that he's meeting with officials constantly while a government is being formed. In Spain, it's the same kind of thing. So those are the two countries that have been needing to form governments since I've been doing this podcast. So we'll see. I guess we'll see what the responsibility for Willem-Alexander is over the next couple of months. I don't know if the Dutch elections will happen quickly or what that looks like. Like if they'll have a majority immediately. I don't know. It'll be an interesting thing, and if, Willem-Alexander has a part in it, we'll definitely talk about it. I think I'm going to personally follow it because I want to learn a little bit more about global politics and how things like that work. So that'll be an interesting thing for me. And if you want me to talk on it, let me know. But I definitely don't plan to unless Willem-Alexander is involved. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be an interesting few months, or maybe just a couple of days. We'll see with the Dutch government. So yeah, that is what was going on in the Netherlands. And now we are going to move on to Norway. All right, in Norway, I'm trying to think of which way to do this. We'll start with the big thing. So, if you've been listening for last week, I was really concerned about when they were going to make an announcement for King Harald. And they did make that announcement on Friday after the Council of State meeting was held. So King Harald is continuing his sick leave for another month. So he is expected to return to king duties now on April 11th of 2021. I'm not surprised because they hadn't put him on the calendar yet, so I'm not shocked by any stretch of the imagination. I hope he's recovering well. For those who don't know or are new, King Harald had a surgery on a tendon in his knee in late January or early February. He was originally only supposed to be out for a couple of weeks, and that turned into a month, and now it's turned into 2. So, definitely wishing him the best. The statement said that he was in okay health and that he was just going to continue with his training and therapy, I think I don't remember exactly what they said, but that overall he was doing well. It was just not healing as quickly as it should be, and he's not participating in king duties at the time. He's doing everything he needs to do to rest and recuperate. So that is what was going on in Norway, the big thing. Next, we had the weekly Council of State meeting, which Crown Prince Haakon led, given that he was serving as regent and is going to continue serving as regent. And then also, so this one was really cool. So Queen Sonja took part in an audience on Friday with a group of skiers, which I think were nicknamed hardheads or something like that. I could not find a literal translation for this at all. I tried and I just couldn't. But they have skied this enormous length of hard terrain. And they ended their journey at the castle in Oslo, where they were supposed to hold an in-person audience with Queen Sonja. But here's the thing. This group of guys have just all been together, and it just didn't feel like a good idea, and so they held it in a really interesting way. So they were at the castle, but they were outside, and Queen Sonia was inside, and they did everything over video chat. Like, super simple, but I don't know, just kind of, I thought it was really cool. They did give her a pair of skis, or a ski, I think, that they had all engraved their name on. So it's this well-known fact in Norway that Queen Sonia is a avid skier. She loves skiing. It's actually really cute. Typically, she will do a winter vacation with Queen Margrethe of Denmark, and they'll go skiing together, and like they're really good friends. It's lovely. But of course that couldn't happen this year because of COVID. But like it's just a well-known fact that Queen Sonia is a skier and loves it. And so I thought that giving her like a ceremonial ski like that was actually a really cool idea. But yeah, that's what was going on in Norway on Friday. And then there hasn't been anything over the past couple days, although I will say I'm not entirely sure because the past couple days for me have been kind of crazy. So I haven't done as much research on today's events. I did some yesterday and there was nothing. So I don't think anything happened today, but if it did, I'll catch it tomorrow and we'll update from there. But yeah, that's what was going on in Norway. So now we are going to go ahead and move on to Spain. In Spain, again, this happened on Friday. So King Felipe met with the president of Portugal, Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa, who he meets with. It seems like he has probably met with President de Sousa like a lot. It's been a lot over the past year. So they saw each other in June. No, they saw each other before June during the pandemic. And then they opened the border of Portugal together, the border between Spain and Portugal. And then this visit. Because Spain and Portugal are right next to each other, they do have a very good relationship. So of course, that's not super surprising that they see each other this often, but it seems like this was maybe President de Sousa's first quote-unquote foreign trip of his new administration, because we talked about this last week. He was recently reelected, and I was shocked because it was almost 61% of the vote, which is unheard of, and was inaugurated again last week. So this was like his first official foreign visit of his new term. So it's not surprising that it was Spain because of course it was. Spain and Portugal have an incredibly close relationship because they are kind of out there all on their own in the Iberian Peninsula, where they are the Iberian Peninsula. So that was the first thing they did. They met at the Royal Palace in Madrid. They held, they're called bilateral meetings, which is where they talk about the priorities of each country in relation with the other. And then this was not on the calendar because it was technically a private event, but they did share a couple of photos. So afterwards in the evening, so I think President de Sousa had a couple of other official engagements, but in the evening, King Felipe and Queen Letizia hosted President de Sousa for a private dinner at the Zarzuela Palace. So they held it came across on Twitter for me probably at this is insane. This is what I can remember. I can't remember what I had for breakfast this morning. I actually didn't have breakfast this morning. Terrible thing to do when you're moving. But I think this came across at like 2 p.m. or something, my time, which is 8 p.m. in Spain, which is normal dinner time, believe me. Like, I understand that, but it was just really interesting. And they just showed pictures of Letizia and President D'Souza greeting each other, and like, it's adorable. It's up on the website, thedailyroyal.com. You can definitely check it out. I think it's so cute. It's such a cute photo. And then they did like a photo on the stairs of Zarzuela Palace, which is traditional for anyone who comes and visits, any head of state, anybody that comes and visits at Zarzuela will take an official picture at the steps. And then they went inside and had their private dinner. But yeah, it was just like a lovely surprise bonus that wasn't on the calendar because it was a private event. It looks like we have, at least from my last look, I haven't looked this weekend, but on Friday, which is when the Spanish royal family updates their calendar, or the Spanish royal household updates their calendar, they hadn't put anything up past Wednesday, so it might be a really quiet week in Spain, but we'll see what happens. So yeah, that's what was going on in Spain, and there was nothing going on in Sweden. So originally on Friday, it was going to be, it is, but was not able to be celebrated this year. Crown Princess Victoria has like a name day. So this is kind of normal in European culture. People will have days that celebrate everyone who's named this. And March 12th is for Victoria. And so there's typically like a big ceremony at the Royal Palace in Stockholm. It's really cool. And it's a way for the people in Stockholm to celebrate Victoria, because on her birthday, she's always on like summer holiday at Solliden, which is the palace on, I think, the island of Åland. And so last year they had a modified version because it was right as the pandemic was starting. So there were no crowds welcome, which is typical. But it was just a very short, like, the military offered her a greeting. And this year it was going to be kind of that same thing, except then she and Daniel got COVID. So then no Crown Princess Victoria name day. I did put like a couple of throwback photos online and on Instagram, so you can check them out. But, I was sad. I missed it. And then you can also listen to my episode that came out around March 12th last year. That covers like a whole bunch more information about what a name day is. So that is the end of this episode. I know it's a little bit short. I'll work through it. This week is probably going to be like that while I kind of figure everything out and readjust. This was a very fast move. Like, I made the decision yesterday and moved today. So it's been a very fast process, and stressful, but like I said, at the very, very beginning of this year, I want to make this podcast a priority. And so I don't want to miss episodes, even though there's a lot happening in my life. I'll take a break in August and we'll go to weekly episodes, and we'll probably do the same thing in December, but I don't really, now that we've made it through the slow time, I don't really like missing days. So we'll see what happens. But like, I want to say now, I want to be here. I want to be doing this podcast every day. So that's what I will do. But in the meantime, bear with me, because, oh boy. And then check out the website, thedailyroyal.com, The Daily Royal on Instagram, and like and review this podcast wherever you are listening. And I will talk to you all tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.